Today we are going to talk about call center terms and jargons. Hi there Ninja! Welcome back to my channel once again. This is Rhea and you're watching Call Center Ninja. If you're new here, please consider subscribing by clicking the red subscribe button down below. And as I've mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about call center basics or call center 101. I have already created so much videos and now we're going back to call center 101 because I really thought that it's really easy to Google these terms, but I also thought it'd be nice to introduce you to some of the call center basics or terms, especially to those of you who are in this channel and who are clueless about whatever terms we use in the BPO or call center industry. So this video is for you. And of course I have a list here. So the first term, of course, is BPO or business process outsourcing. So to give you the dictionary definition, it says it is when a company outsources some of its tasks or operations to another company to help increase flexibility and cost efficiency. So that might sound a little bit too technical, but to give you an example, when we say BPO or business process outsourcing, that means that a company assigns a certain task to another company and that another company does the task for them. So for example, I have a telecommunications company. Let's just call it Telecom X. And I provide prepaid and postpaid plans to consumers. But I also need to have a customer service department that will handle the concerns, the questions of the customers who will call about their prepaid and postpaid accounts. Now, as Telecom X, I need an entity, or let's just say people who will do the customer service for me. So what I will do is I will hire call center X to handle the customer service part of my business. So that is what we call outsourcing. I am Telecom X and I am outsourcing my customer service department into call center X, and I will pay call center X to do the customer service tasks for me. And call centers are the most common examples of business process outsourcing, especially here in the Philippines. But that is not to say that only call centers are part of the BPO industry. There can also be a lot of departments like IT, there are also HR, back office, processing, all those different things. But the most common is really the call center industry. And if a company is located abroad or in another country and that company outsources a part of its business into another country, for example, what is usually happening here in the Philippines, our clients are usually from abroad. That is what we call offshore outsourcing because they are outsourcing their business offshore or outside their country. Okay. Number 2, call center. What is a call center? Call center, or what they call as contact center, is a centralized kind of office. It can be a big or small office that takes or receives huge amount or volume of calls on behalf of a certain business, such as the example that I provided earlier. The call center takes the calls on behalf of another business. And it's not just about taking calls, because a lot of call centers also have back-end operations that do not necessarily directly support customer service. For example, they have email support, chat support, admin or administrative tasks, IT support, and all those things. So basically, it is really a call center where people take calls to serve a business. Number 3 is account or program. So for big call centers, they usually divide their clients into different types of accounts or programs. What we call them usually is account or accounts. Some other companies call them programs. So for example, I am call center XYZ and I have many clients. So I serve clients that are needing my service for travel, for banking, for example, or for telecom. So if you are applying for a call center that has many accounts, then you might be profiled or you might be assigned to work in one of those accounts. So you will hear people say, which account do you belong to, or which account were you profiled for? So you can be profiled for a travel account or for a banking account, for a telecom account. So all of those accounts are handled by that one big call center. Number 4 is inbound and outbound. So when you say inbound call center or inbound account, that means that you are receiving calls from the customer. So you are the one answering the calls from customers. And most of inbound accounts are tech support or customer service accounts. But when you say outbound, you as the employee or the call center agent, you are the one calling a customer or calling a guest, calling someone to satisfy a particular service, which is why we call it outbound calling. You're the one calling out. Usually for outbound calls, these are for sales and telemarketing calls. Number 5 is metrics. So by dictionary definition, it says that metrics are quantifiable measures of the business that are put in place to make sure that business processes are properly assessed, tracked, and monitored. So basically, metrics are in place so that you will be evaluated properly and to see whether you are doing your job correctly or not. This is basically how you are rated, and depending on where you work, it can differ from one account to another or from one company to another. But the most common or the basic ones are, the first one is AHT or average handle time. So average handle time or average handling time, they call it AHT. It's the average time an agent can complete the calls, which is calculated like this. Total talk time, or the time that you are talking, plus your hold time when you are putting your customers on hold, plus the wrap time divided by the number of calls that you took or made. So basically, everything that you did while you were talking with your customer, including the hold time, when you are wrapping it up after the call, you divide it by the number of calls that you made during the day. So that's your average handle time for the day. And with AHT, the smaller the number, the better. Because that means you're fast, you're quick, and most likely you're efficient. Not all the time, because there are a lot of factors. Some people or some agents who have low AHT might not be doing the process correctly, so we don't know. But basically, if your AHT number is low, then that's good. If you have a higher AHT, that means that you probably are talking a lot, but it depends, because in every account there is a passing rate or a certain time that you need to hit so that you pass the AHT or average handling time, and that will be discussed to you, of course, by your supervisor or by your trainer. And then the next one after AHT is CSAT or customer satisfaction. So of course, as the name itself suggests, it's called customer satisfaction because you are rated based on how you assist the customer. And again, it depends on which account you are. Each account has its own criteria for judging how you will be rated or evaluated for customer satisfaction. So if you did your best, you gave everything, you gave excellent customer service, then most likely your customer will give you a high rating or high score for CSAT. But if the customer is not satisfied with your service or what you have provided, then we call it DSAT, or you have a dissatisfaction rating. And this is one of the most important things that you have to hit when you are in a call center, especially in customer service industry. We have what we call the QA or quality assurance. So this is another important metric in call centers because this will determine whether you have properly followed the processes or the procedures or the guidelines or if you have done each step correctly. A QA analyst will be assigned to you who will listen to your call, probably side by side, or that QA analyst will sit beside you and listen to your call, and can also be remote call listening or call recording. Like if your call is recorded, like in the previous account that I worked in, all our calls were recorded, so every call can be evaluated. If you did all the necessary steps and you followed all the guidelines, then of course you will likely get a high QA score. But if you miss a certain thing, for example, you did not open or close the call properly, and that is part of your QA evaluation, then you will get a what we call QA deduction. So that's minus your QA rating. So do your best to get a perfect QA score, because that means that you really are doing your job well. Another important metric is what we call the SA, or schedule adherence. So this will determine whether you are following your schedule to a T or not, because some agents will just log in and log out and go on over break or over lunch. So that is really not acceptable if it's not an emergency or something like that. So when you say schedule adherence, for example, you are scheduled to log in on the phone by 7 p.m., then you have to be on the phone by 7 p.m. If you're scheduled to be on break by 10 p.m., then you have to be on break by 10 p.m. That means you're adhering to the schedule that is plotted for you. And yes, that is how it really is in call centers. You have plotted schedules because there are a certain number of people, or agents rather, that should be on the phone on a certain time frame in order for the call center to be able to fulfill the needed service level or the calls that needed to be taken for that particular time frame. And another common metric is what we call conversion. Conversion is used in sales accounts, and this is the rate or the percentage of the customers or the people who actually did what you wanted them to do. So for example, you are selling a t-shirt and that customer bought your t-shirt, so that is a conversion rate for you because you got the customer to buy the t-shirt that you are selling him or her. So it applies to all other types of sales account. They call it sales conversion. Number 6 is what we call the floor. So you will hear a lot of agents saying, okay, when you reach the floor or when you're already taking calls on the floor, that is really just the production floor or the area where you will be taking calls. Number 7 is graveyard shift. A lot of call centers are on graveyard shift. So when you are already working in one, you most likely will be in a graveyard shift. That is a term that we use to mean you are working at night and then you will typically be logging out in the morning. So you are on a graveyard shift or on a late night shift. Number 8 is night differential. So this is a required by law additional payment, additional to your basic salary if you are working between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. and it's going to be prorated if you are working in between that time. For example, you started at 11 p.m. or you started at 12 midnight. So you have to ask your supervisor, your payroll, or your HR team for your night differential pay. And then we also have number 9, which is hazard pay, related to night differential in a way that it is also a payment made to acknowledge that you're working in a risky kind of condition, you know, being a night owl or working in a graveyard environment, going to work at night or early in the morning. So, which is why they will pay you a hazard pay. And also ask your supervisor or your payroll team about that. And then number 10, we also have NCNS, or no call, no show. This is a major offense for a lot of call centers. I think for all call centers. NCNS is when you are absent or you go on your own leave. You're assuming that you're on leave, but you did not tell your supervisor or you did not tell your direct manager about it. which is why it's called no call, no show. You did not show up for work and you did not inform anyone. Usually they will tell you that when you are going to be absent for work, you have to call in. And if you don't call in or if you don't inform, then you will be tagged as NCNS or no call, no show. Then we also have AWOL, or absence without official leave, or what they call AWOL or AWOL. That means you just left the company without notice, without resignation letter, without a shadow of you. You are missing in action. So that is AWOL, and there are consequences that you did not want to happen, or that might affect your employment. So I suggest, if you want to resign or if you don't like it anymore, you have to resign properly or submit a resignation letter properly to your supervisor. And bonus round, if you hear that they call you a call center virgin, or if they ask if you're a call center virgin, that means that you haven't worked in a call center before, which is why they say you are a call center virgin. So welcome to the call center world. And so that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. I hope you learned something from my call center terms and call center 101. I will have another episode or another video for the other terms that I haven't mentioned here in my next or future videos. So if you like this content, please don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment down below if you have any questions about the terms, or if you have something in mind that you really need an answer to, and I will try to answer them. And again, I have videos every Wednesdays and Fridays. Please don't forget to watch out. Thank you so much for watching again. Take care and bye-bye.